Okay, so now we are going to do the structure of a leaf. Now, leaf is extremely important as it is the site of photosynthesis and it provides food for the plant, provides nutrition to the plant. Remember your Miss Gren providing and nutrition. So, what is the structure? We have on the top, it has layers, it's like a cake. On the top, it's the waxy cuticle, a layer sort of emitted by the layer beneath, which is the upper epidermis. So, the upper epidermis. And then we have the palisade cells, tightly packed. And then spongy mesophyll. Lower epidermis with stomata. And yeah. So now it's time for some explanation. So the most important are these: the palisade cells, palisade mesoville to be specific. Palisade. Now the purpose of these is to collect the sunlight. The purpose of the leaf is to collect sunlight. They have the highest amount of chloroplasts. They have the highest amount of chloroplast so that they can collect. And the chloroplast is the one that collects the sunlight, of course, and performs photosynthesis to create energy for the plant. So, yeah, it has huge chloroplast. It is also tightly packed to ensure that it doesn't miss any of the light coming through. So, a lot of questions say try and identify the cell based on how much um, chloroplast you see. So, yeah. And you might be asking, well, if it's the one absorbing light, why isn't it on the top? Well, on the top is the epidermis and waxy cuticle. The waxy cuticle is sort of secreted by the epidermis, and it is waxy to prevent water from leaving the cell upwards, as wax prevents water from escaping. Because water is a key part to photosynthesis. Photosynthesis, if you didn't know, is plus water plus carbon dioxide with the power of sunlight turns into oxygen and ATP. And glucose. Yeah. This epidermis is almost transparent, pretty much transparent, not too much chloroplast, so that light can pass through to the palisade. The upper epidermis. There's also lower epidermis. Below that is the spongy mesophyll. It has a lot of pockets for gas exchange, so that gases don't get trapped and they can move around freely. Now, where do the gases come out? From the lower epidermis, pretty much the same purpose as the upper. There are gaps known as stoma, plural stomata. They're guarded by guard cells. So the guard cells open and close. They open and close. So in order to facilitate gases going in and out, but what they don't want is water escaping while gases come in and out. We'll have more on why that happens later. Yeah, there's also a sorry, a vascular bundle. Here we have xylem and phloem. Now, as a rule of thumb, xylem will be either in the center or on the top. Xylem is responsible for carrying water, yeah, water through the cells. It is basically hollow, and it uses transpiration, more on that later, to make water travel upwards. And it's hollow, so water can travel, of course. It is made of the cells inside of it are dead, and they're lignified, allowing water to pass through. And it is a key component to woody material on plants. The xylem. There's also the phloem on the bottom. Now, xylem is inactive transport, of course. It doesn't require energy. However, phloem does. This is because xylem can only move upwards, while phloem can move upwards and downwards. Phloem's role is to make glucose and nutrients and stuff travel to, say, roots, fruits, developing fruits, flowers, to facilitate growth and sustenance. Now, what's happening with the water? Why is the water going up, down? What's happening to the water? Now, as you probably know, water is collected through the roots. So these are the roots, this is the ground. Water is coming from here. How is it coming in? Well, in the root cells are specifically designed for water to come in. You can see this through the shape, like this. So it has a protrusion, which facilitates a higher surface area to volume ratio, allowing more water to enter. And it also has a large centralized vacuole. A vacuole is basically like an enclosement of water with nutrients dissolved in it. And what this does, it greatly lowers the free water potential, which increases the amount of water going in through the yeah in semi-permeable membrane, as there is as there is a less concentration of water here than on the outside. Water goes in, and what it goes through lot of stuff, and then it goes to the center. In a taproot, like a carrot, it would be the center or some protrusions. In the center, there will be a cross or a star shape, something like that, and on the sides there will be pockets. Now the cross here is xylem, and the dots here are phloem. The xylem and phloem. The xylem, as we discussed, facilitates water going up. Phloem is the other way. Now it goes to the xylem. Why does it go to the xylem? That is the question. Because in the leaves, remember how I said the stomata opens to facilitate gas exchange? Now, why does the gas go out or in? Well, what happens is water vapor, which is plentiful inside of the leaf, wants to leave the leaf through the stoma. So when it receives the opportunity, it immediately just leaves. What this does, it creates a sort of pulling force, which we call transpiration. So all the water is being pulled up. Think about it like you're sucking a straw, and the water gets pulled up, pushing, and that is in the xylem because xylem is hollow. So the water goes up through the xylem, and now Now you've carried the water up to the leaves where you can perform photosynthesis, and you've gotten oxygen and carbon dioxide. However, now you've lost a lot of water, which you need for photosynthesis. Which is why the stomata can close on will in order to facilitate water not leaving. And however, this does result in photosynthesis requiring on water escaping. Photosynthesis cannot occur without the loss of water, unfortunately, for the plants. Now, in many the stem structures, the xylem can also be in the center with phloem on the outside. And yeah, that's pretty much it for transport in plants, really. Yeah, it's getting late now. Thanks, bye.